Hola, hola, hola. Hello, my beautiful woman of worth community, woman of purpose, woman of greatness. Hop on. I am happy to be here as always. So maybe wondering, I wonder if she putting on this fake smile just because she's on camera. The truth is, this gives me so much joy that every time I'm about to come on, I get super excited. And that is because I'm here living in my purpose or a part of my purpose. And I'm happy to share with you, lovely people. And because I'm in that beautiful stage or process of being transformed into this beautiful butterfly, as I spoke on last week about, well, not last week, the week before, about transformation. And I'm just super excited to share on this beautiful journey or life that God has given to me and how He has been transforming my life and, causing me to just walk into the great woman that I am created to be. And because I am now that woman, or I've realized, all of that woman that I am just so excited to share because I love to encourage others and I want to see others thrive. I want to see others transform. I want to see others encouraged. I want to see others become confident. I want other women to recognize that they are full of so much worth, that they are valued treasures, that they are gems, that they are beautiful, that they're not just beautiful on the outside, but that you are beautiful on the inside. And so when I'm here encouraging you, my Woman of Worth community, it also encourages me every time. So for that reason, or for those reasons, I'm super duper excited, right? And I just want to say that I hope you all had a blessed and joyful Christmas. And also, I pray too that this stream will find you in good spirit. If not, I hope that it will encourage you. And let me just say my disclaimer right here that my live streams, they are not prescriptive, neither are they solely to be used as something to treat your personal life or experience. However, I do believe that there are some nuggets that can be helpful in encouraging you, my Woman of Worth community, to be the best version of yourself. So when I'm here and I'm sharing, I'm not sharing as someone who knows it all, as someone who has been through it all, or as someone who has been equipped with everything that I've ever needed in life. No, I was never ever. I don't profess to know it all, but each time I'm increased, each time I've been encouraged, each time I've been informed or educated, each time I've been made wholesome in one way or another, I'm just excited to share. So everybody's journey is different, everybody's experiences are different, but I do believe personally that we all have one thing in common, and that thing that we have in common is that we all feel hurt, we all experience pain, we all experience something dramatic, traumatic, or uncomfortable at some point in time in our lives, be it through friendships, relationships, or families, at our workplaces and spaces, in our community, even in church at times. So I think that's what we all have in common, because we're human beings. We're not exempted from experiencing something that may be uncomfortable at some point in time. But it's not to say that because we experience something traumatic, dramatic, painful, harmful, uncomfortable, and things like that, means that we have to succumb to those injuries. My God, I'm feeling this one already. It doesn't mean we have to succumb to all those injuries, to all those things that we have experienced that has not been pleasant. And that is why I'm so excited when I come on here to share with you all, to let you recognize that there's so much more to life. There's so much more on the inside of you that you can grab a hold of and become. And that is why I'm always super excited when I come on. And that is why I always have this big super smile when I come on here, yes? And I just want to acknowledge those who are here live and tell you I thank you for joining. And I hope too for those who will be catching this stream on the rebound that it will be a blessing. And don't forget to share with the woman of worth in your life that can be a blessing to them as well. Yes? So with that said, I'm going to get into what I'll be sharing on today. And I'm going to be talking about growth. So pretty much the streams from conception or inception has been on basically about developing, growing, improving ourselves in becoming that woman of worth in the different ways that we can, and how we can be transformed in our mal. And that mal stands for our mindset, our attitude, and our language, because that mal that we have, it can hinder, block, or stop us from progressing to the next level, or from becoming one with the best version of ourselves, with that woman of worth. So for that reason, again, I'm here today. And talking about growth today, I just want to say or state what the definition according to Oxford Languages states. And it states that growth is the process of increasing in size. My God, that's sweet. I'm super excited. Forgive me. I can't help myself today. And that is too because with the year coming to a close, it has been a blessed year, and I'm so looking forward to so much more to happen and to come, and for me to be in the next year that is approaching and beyond. And I hope that you too are looking forward and expectant for something greater, a double greatness for you. Right? And so it states that it is the process of increasing in size. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Some similar words, according to that definition that I found, were, just to name a few, development, blooming, thriving, and maturation. Oh my goodness. That is so simple but yet profound. And I want to make a cross-reference or an analogy of a tree. And we see tree all around us. And we may be familiar with stories like these or analogies like these. But I believe that there will be something within this stream that will be something that will stand out for you, or something that you may never have heard before. Yes? And with a tree, as we know, it first starts with a seed. And within us, there are seeds. There are seeds that have been planted. There are things that God has placed within us from we were born, or even before we were born. Yes? And with the tree, it starts with a seed. And when that seed is planted, it is in a dark space. It's in a dark place. It may even be in a ground that, it should be in a ground rather, that is moistened, that is soft, an earth that is ready for it, and it being ready for the soil. I hope I'm making sense right there. If I've lost you, just let me know. If there's a question, feel free to pose or your comment, and I'll try my best to respond. Again, I do not know it all, but for the knowledge and the information and the revelation, insight, foresight, and wisdom that I've gained, both naturally through my lessons at school, as well as through the Word of God, the wisdom of God, it is what is helping me to propel into being the woman that I am today, and looking forward to being even a greater woman of purpose. Yes? And so, talking about the tree and the seed, with that seed, it has to be, after the seed being sown into the soil, we have to water the seed. Let's think about a farmer. That farmer has to nurture that seed. That farmer constantly waters the seed. The farmer, as the tree grows, there is a moment in time. I'm kind of running ahead of what I want to talk about, but I just can't help myself right here. The farmer or the planter, when that seed is sown and the tree is growing, they nurture it, they water it, and they, what they call that word, they mulch the earth. So they do things like that, and they keep putting fresh soil and things like that on top of the old soil, or keep putting nutrients in so that the tree can grow beautifully, and as the definition states, so it can bloom. Yeah. And also, as the tree grows, there are times when the farmer has to prune the trees. They have to prune the limbs, and in pruning the limbs, it causes the trees to sometimes, depending on what may be, if there's something wrong with that tree, sometimes they may have to prune the tree so that the tree can bloom more beautifully or can bear more. And I want to use a simple example. Maybe about 2 weeks ago, my husband cut this bougainvillea plant or tree that we have in our yard. And it was cut because there were some leaves, most of it, as a matter of fact, it seemed as if it was having a disease or something. And my husband cut the tree, and every time I go close by the tree, I keep looking at the tree and I'm saying to myself, my God, my husband just cut this, and the leaves, it's a pity I didn't take a picture or something so I could maybe use it as my cover photo at the end of the stream. And every time I look at it, I'm saying the leaves have grown so much already. The branches, they're already growing. Yeah? And I'm like, it's in the very same way that God wants us to grow and bloom beautifully. And if you're familiar with the plant bougainvillea, or the name, I learned the name recently, by the way. After all these years growing up, I see these things. I didn't know that's the name. They bloom different colors. The leaves are, what they bloom, the petals are very delicate. And I recently saw a video too that the plant can be used in our meals, right? And it's very delicate. They bloom in like rose pink, yellow, white, and maybe another color. I don't remember right now, but it's very beautiful. And in the same way, God wants us to grow beautifully. He wants us to bloom beautifully. But sometimes there may be some things that is hindering the growth. And like I made mention, the tree seemed as if it had a disease. So for the farmer, there are times too where their crops, their trees, their plants may seem as though it have a disease, and they may have to use some what's that called? Some insect repellent, if I'm using the right term here, or things like that, to ensure that whatever it is, it does not kill what is on the inside, what is to come out of that tree, what is to come out of that plant. In the very same, I'm really running ahead of my notes because I shouldn't even be down here yet in the middle of my thing, but I'm just flowing right here. In the very same way within us, and I'm going to be looking at my notes so that I ensure that I cover everything that I want to speak on today, right? And the planter or the farmer, what happens is that they pay close attention to the plant, or they are discerning of what is happening to the plant. So before the plant dies, before the plant succumbs to its injuries, my God, before it succumbs to its injuries, what the plant or the farmer will do, he will attend to it. So he will prune some limbs, he will spray it with the insect repellent thing, he or she may put fresh soil, whatever it is that needs to be done, they will do that to ensure that this tree grows and blooms beautifully so that it can bear much fruit. And sometimes cutting too, it allows that tree to bear much fruit. So it is important for us to prune away sometimes. And pruning away for us now as individuals, as humans, may be that of cutting away some friendships, cutting away some or certain partnerships, maybe like cutting away from the different types of relationships that we may be in that is not fruitful, or that may not be bearing much fruit. Because in any relationship that we're in, it should be bearing much fruit. It should be bearing much fruit. So for these fruits, when these trees rather, so I guess I can use us as the trees. So for us, if we're not bearing fruit or much fruit, we're in serious trouble. Because if we're not bearing fruit or much fruit, then what it is are we giving to those around us? What it is that we are enabling others to eat from? What is it that others around us, whom we're called to, whom we're assigned to, what is it that they will be feeding from if we are not bearing fruit or much fruit? So if we're not bearing fruit or much fruit, the individuals around us, they could very well die. They could very well die because they are not getting the nutrients that they should from our trees. So we then have to pay close attention to us, the tree. I hope I'm making sense. We have to pay close attention to us, the tree, to see where we need to assess our soil, my God, to see where and how and what needs to be done to this tree. Do we need to cut away? Do we need to prune? Do we need to add more water? And that water I'm going to use here as love. Are we ourselves watering our trees? And what are we watering it with? So if we're not watering it with love, then we're going to be so limited in giving love to others. Like this much. And love is a universal language that we need, that we can use to unlock so many different things. So remember I talked about sometimes earlier that we all at some point go through trauma, drama, painful stuff, harmful stuff, uncomfortable things in some way or another. What happens with this love, this water, when it's poured, and we hear and we know of water is life, right? When we have enough or more than enough for ourselves and can pour into others, now all of these things that we experience in our past lives, it will help us to heal and to be restored from some of those things that we have experienced, the harmful things. And for example here, if we read some of the labels on some of the poisonous things like insecticides, that's the word I was supposed to say. I said insect repellent earlier to spray the thing, but pesticides was what I meant to say. So if we have these things in our home, the label, or even certain medication, if our children, for example, too, intake some of this, what it will tell you, one of the first instructions that it will tell you or guide is that we are to flush. If something gets into our eyes, it tells us that we ought to flush our eyes with some water, or we ought to drink some water to flush the thing out of our system. And medically, drinking lots of water helps to flush our kidneys, which is a good thing. So you see right here how important it is to have water, to drink water, and for love here I'm using as the water. How important it is, because it will help to detoxify some of the impurities that has lodged within us. I hope I'm making sense right here. Okay, so because I ran ahead of myself a bit, I'm going to go back up to the top of my notes. So remember I spoke about the definition of growth. And remember it spoke about the process of increasing in size. Increasing could also mean or look like wealth. And wealth is not just something financially. It's not just being increased financially. We could also be increased in knowledge. We should also can be increased in wisdom. We can also be increased in understanding. We can also be increased in boldness, in courage and confidence. This woman of worth you see sitting here before you, my woman of worth community, She was not always this confident. She was not always this bold. She was not always this woman who felt like she could do something like this. She was a woman who struggled. I, that woman of worth, I struggled for a long time. I struggled to become one with who I was truly created to be. And sometimes too, with growth, we could be looking or paying attention to the tree, which is others, next to us, and maybe wondering, why is it that that tree is growing or blooming more than we are? Let us bear in mind sometimes too that every plant, tree, or tree have also a season. And let us also remember that the definition states that growth is a process. So all those things are elements that we need to take into consideration that can, what should I say, that can help with our growth. Yes? So being confident means that, or doesn't mean that you don't have certain fears or you've not struggled with certain, the words are just not coming to me right now. You have not struggled with certain things. It does not mean that. But what it means is that with all of what you face, with all of the thoughts that you've had in your mind, thinking that you're not enough, or maybe you can't do it, or maybe no one will see you, no one will hear you, and things like that. With all of that going on, when you become one with that individual that you've been created to be, and you recognize that I was called for this, I was born to do this, and I am able to do it with the skill set that you've been given, with the strengths and the abilities and capabilities that you have. And I spoke on this in the transformation stream about 2 weeks ago, right? So it is imperative to pay close attention to what is locked on the inside of us, you, me, and not others around us. Yes? I hope I'm making sense, right? I really do hope I'm making sense. And growth also looks like a tree, as I made mention, that bears fruit. And the season, we have to take into consideration where we may be, and or different seasons may be or may include factors such as our age or economical status. It may be the resources that we have access to or don't have access to, and things like that, but not limited to those only. And so sometimes too, our growth may seem like it's a bit delayed, but the truth is it's not necessarily that it is being delayed. Sometimes it's just that this particular tree takes a little bit more time, because there are sometimes some trees that when you plant them, and for example, I planted some tomato seeds again recently, right? And tomato, I find they need a lot of water. Yeah? And what I observed is that some sprung up and some seemed as if they were about to die. But I kept pouring water, and I saw those ones that looked like they were about to die kept coming up. But there are some seeds that never reached to the level that the others are. In fact, I planted so many seeds and I'm yet to see some of these seeds start growing. And it's not to say maybe they won't ever grow, but maybe they may never grow. But what I'm talking about here is about our growth. So it is important to grow, because if there's no growth with my seeds that I've planted, then I won't have any tomatoes, neither will I have any to give to others. So I hope I'm making sense here, right? And one of the other things I want us to pay close attention to or understand about our growth is that we need to self-evaluate and introspect. I love to do that. And that is what that is a great tool that I use that has helped me to be here today, to be this confident woman. Because when we self evaluate ourselves or we introspect, what we're doing is like we're reviewing, or we're looking back, or we're looking into ourselves, a situation or something like that, to see how best or better we could do or we could be. And also when we do that, what that is helping us to do is to become more emotionally aware also. So this is why it is imperative to self-introspect and to self-evaluate ourselves as individuals, because also to be emotionally aware is one of, or a type of intelligence. So if you are emotionally aware of yourselves, your emotions and things like that, then yes. And if you're not 100% there, I guarantee you, with consistent practice, you'll get there and you're on your way to greatness. I have been on that journey, still am, but I'm definitely not the woman that I was before, that I am today. And I give God all the glory for that. And one of the last set of things that I want to leave with you, where growth is concerned, is that we need supporters, we need wise counselors, and we need cheerleaders. Now, some may say, you're talking about a tree and growth. How that drop in? Well, I'm here to tell you how it drop in. If we have wise counselors, if we have, some may call them mentors, if you have, or if we have cheerleaders and great supporters, that means we're on our way to something greater. And these people, they are beneficial to our growth because, one, as our supporters, cheerleaders, and wise counselors, what will be happening is that they'll be pouring wisdom into us. And of course, it's a good thing to have these kind of people, especially who may be more mature than us, and could be more mature not just in age, but they could also be individuals who are more mature emotionally. It could be individuals who are more mature mentally and stuff like that, and depending to maybe where your journey or life is headed, right? And when we have these people, they will be able to guide us, to better guide us, instruct us, or suggest or advise to us what it is that we need to do to ensure that our growth is not hampered or tampered with. Yeah? And also too, these individuals, they should be persons who are pouring more water into us. So remember earlier I talked about, I want to use water to symbolize love. Yeah? And if they're not pouring love into us, into you, then that plant, or plant us, the tree, we could easily die, we could easily wither, right? And they're also important to our process or journey, because they sometimes, if they're more mature in the area, in a thing, or biologically sometimes, they are better able to, what should I say, guide us. The words today, I don't know. I seem to be challenged today with my words. They're able to project at a particular distance sometimes that we may not yet able to perceive or grab a hold of. And it's okay, because like I stated, with a plant or a tree or a seed, when it's planted, it wasn't planted as a tree. It started out as a seed. So it has to start somewhere. So sometimes we may be hard on ourselves and thinking again that, hey, I should have known this, but we won't always know everything, or neither can we know everything all at once either. So it's a process. That's what the definition of growth states. So we have to learn to be gentle with the plant, because too, there are some trees that are super delicate. Some trees are more delicate. Some plants are more delicate than others. So we have to be super, super, super gentle with our tree, ourselves, that is. And when we learn to be gentle with ourselves too, then we'll also be able to be gentle with others. Yeah. And some questions that you could ask yourself is, do these cheerleaders, pretty much what I've stated before, do they invest in you? Investing in you could mean their time or any other resources that they may have. And again, depending on what the relationship is all about, as their cheerleaders, supporters, or wise counselors, right? And also, are they encouraging? Do they encourage you in your endeavors? Do they rejoice with you? Are they happy to see you growing, going to the next level? Because not everyone can manage growth or our growth, right? Not everyone can manage that one. Also, do they give beneficial advice that will improve your growth? So pretty much I'm reiterating what I said before. Do they pray with you or for you? Some may not believe in prayer, I don't know. Some may believe in prayer. I personally believe 100% in prayer, because that's also a tool that I use that has helped me to be the woman that I am today, to overcome a lot of things. So I pray that if you are not someone who really does, or maybe you do but you don't do as often as you would really like to, or you may think you cannot pray, because oftentimes I hear a person say, I don't know how to pray. It's as simple. God, I am challenged in this area and I need your wisdom on how to go forward. There you go. That's a simple prayer. Even sometimes what you say to friends about your challenges and your struggles, that too can become a prayer. So I hope that was helpful. And so that is my final word. And I just want to reiterate that growth is imperative for our next level. And remember, it's a process. And growth is also rewarding. So remember, I talk about the tree. When the tree is bearing fruit, or much fruit, that's us, then it will be so much more rewarding for us and those around us. And those around us, not just our families, not just our friends and our children, but others. And these other people could be people in our community. It could be people in our nation at large. It could be people globally. It could be persons whom you're assigned to regarding your purpose. So keep those things in mind. And we know that with the new year coming, a lot of individuals set their goals down, they journal what it is that they're looking forward to or expecting. And there are some too who is looking forward to a greater year that will be more fruitful. And so I believe that this stream was timely for the new year that's coming. And I just want to encourage you all who have joined live, and for those who will be watching on the replay, to know that your growth is a process. Your growth is a process, and you can and will increase in size. But remember, to be able to increase in size and to be fruitful, you must water your tree, firstly with love. And also remember that you are to analyze or evaluate your soil. Remember also to prune away the limbs that is necessary for growth. And also remember to add the additives that is necessary, such as the counselors, the wise counselors, the supporters and cheerleaders, who will pour topsoil into you so that you can be the great woman that God has created you to be, and also to be the great man for the males who have joined with me live today, to know that you too can bear much fruit. But don't forget that with all the pruning, you will bloom more beautifully. So don't pay attention to, oh my God, I'm going to have to prune away some of these relationships and friendships. And Don't worry about it. The right people will come in your space who will be of greater value to you. And remember too that sometimes there are individuals who have to go because their time has expired, their time has ended. But most importantly, invest in yourself. I don't think I can say that enough. Invest, invest, invest in yourself. And investing again, guys, as I've said in a few streams before, it may look like going back to school. It may be learning a new skill. It may be owning the new one that you currently have, or just simply time, spending time to learn more about yourself. Tap in with that great woman of purpose. Until next year, have a happy, blessed, and new year. And I pray that this new year will be a new year that you will tap into that great woman of purpose and worth, and also that great man of purpose and worth. And I pray too that you will become that confident woman, that you will allow that beautiful butterfly to emerge, and so that she can fly and spread her wings, so that she can see all the beautiful things that are around, and so that she can be a blessing to other people. I love you, but God loves you more. Shalom. Bye-bye. Thank you again for joining. See you next year. Happy New Year from my family to yours. Bye-bye.